So I used to spend a lot of hours trying to find the perfect font sizes that I could have used in each and every single one of my projects, and sometimes after dozens of wasted attempts and sometimes even multiple hours, I wasn't even able to achieve some kind of satisfying result. But everything changed when I actually took the time to do some research and inspect multiple award-winning websites, so to see what the pros use recurring font sizes on professional projects. So today I want to share with you that, so you don't have to actually waste so much time playing the number games. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Matteo and I'm a professional web designer, and in this channel we cover the habits, strategies, tools, everything that is needed to create more website experiences and to grow as designers. Now, there are two main points that I want to touch on before we start actually checking out the font sizes that professionals use on their websites. And the first one is why do you actually need a font sizes guide? You can have a solid base and you don't have to worry about maybe this is not accessible, this is too small, too big, whatever. You can start experimenting more and more safely. The second and last point that I want to briefly touch on, and then we jump straight into the font sizes, and I'm gonna show you some examples of websites that utilize those font sizes, is that a professional always use those kind of values for their font sizes because they know they work, they are tested, they are accessible, they make the UI more organized, and accessibility is a huge point. But there are certain projects where you can experiment more, pushing the boundaries of font sizes and creativity, for instance portfolios, but there are some websites that you need to follow some sort of rules, like e-commerces. They need to be accessible, they need to be clear, the content needs to be always readable. So having a guide and having a set of font sizes that you can always rely on is a huge point. And because I actually want to save you some time, I put together by hand now with AI a PDF with all the most commonly used font sizes by professionals. So if you want to check it out, I'm gonna leave you the link in the description down below or in the comment section. But let's jump straight into the websites. Let's see some examples. The PDF, I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of the PDF so you know how to use it, so you can save some time. I can save you some time understanding how it works. So let's start off with the first website, which is a portfolio, and from Bruno Arizio, which by the way is an amazing designer. I highly suggest you to follow his work because you can learn a lot of things. I love his work, but I want to make some points on his website in terms of font sizes, because as you can see, I'm on a 27 inches display. Here the font size is extremely small. Now, there are two considerations to make here. A portfolio is a place where you can experiment so much. You can see it here. The text is not aimed to be extremely accessible or that follows some kind of rules, so it is important to understand the scope, goal, and target of your project. If, for instance, you're creating your portfolio, it is okay for you to actually experiment with type and with font sizes. And we can understand that Bruno is actually a really experienced designer because he knows that he's designing his portfolio. He has a specific target in mind. And if we use what font, this is a Chrome extension, you can download it for free to check font sizes and information about fonts in websites. He uses 11 pixels for the font size, and we can see that it is extremely small even on a 27 inches monitor. So that means that it is not really accessible. But again, for the goal of the project and for the goal of the website, this is actually amazing because it expresses the creativity of the designer, plus it looks amazing, guys. Usually for minimal websites and for minimal designs, you want to use a lot of white space, and in a grid you can create white space with smaller font sizes, small images, and you can create a beautiful layout. Now, I want to look at this website right here, which is, by the way, on the opposite spectrum of a portfolio. This is a sales page, and he wants to be accessible, I guess, because you want to sell a product. So, okay, being creative, that's okay, but we need to be careful about accessibility, and here we can see that, for instance, in this section, it's barely noticeable, the text. If you scroll down, you see for the scout and all of us, so big text, you see the image or kind of the video, and so this text pass by. So this is not a really good practice. Plus, this text is extremely small. In fact, if we see again with the extension here, 16 pixels and line height 20 pixels. So for a 26 inches monitor that usually stays a pretty long distance from the eye, it's not that readable and clear. So I would have suggested to actually increase the font size for bigger screens instead of for something like a 14 inches MacBook. It would be perfect like that. But again, we need to be careful about the goal of the project and the scope of the project, because this it's creative, it has nice design, but at the same time it's not accessible. Now let's take a look at another example, and all of those websites that I'm gonna show you are award-winning websites. So that shows you that actually to win awards or to be more creative in a website, you need to sacrifice some other things, in this case accessibility with font sizes. In fact, here we can see that with the extension we have a size of 14 pixels and line height 20 pixels. So it's not, again, 27 inches monitor, this is the font size, so it's pretty small. Again, if the client was happy with that, the target fits in the website, etc., perfect. But in terms of best practices, this is not a best practice. Now I want to take a look at some good examples that you can replicate, and I'm gonna explain you why. And as you can see, even in the bad examples, the font sizes are kind of similar. It's a difference of 1 to 2 pixels, but kind of in the same range. So you can start seeing the patterns in all of those websites. And let's see other good examples, some other good examples that we can take inspiration from. So, and let's say for instance this one, which is a very creative website, but at the same time very, very, very accessible. Chrome extension, again 25 pixels, line height 37. Okay, we go here, we have 67. We go into this one, we have again 67. For the call to actions, we have 25, so the same size, font size as the paragraphs. It is not necessary for you to have different font sizes for call to actions and paragraphs. You can have the same font sizes for even all the elements. The important thing is that you create contrast with the weight of the fonts, with the color of the fonts. So you can have the same font size across all the website. Just keep in mind that you need to create contrast and hierarchy with other elements. Last example here, we can see that we have some call to actions. We have a big title. The call to action is 18 pixel, but because it is all uppercase and it is kind of bold, you can pretty clearly see it, so there's not a problem in terms of accessibility here. For the title, we have 92 pixels. If we scroll down, we can see that we have a text here which is 22 pixels. So because it is on an image or on a video, you usually want to have a bit more contrast with the text, and you can achieve it by increasing just by some pixels the actual font size. Same font size 21. Here, as you can see, the same font size, but with the different weight of the text, we actually create contrast and hierarchy, so we don't have any problem distinguishing the different elements. Let's get to the source, guys, because I want to show you the PDF that I put together, and I want to give you a short walkthrough of all the font sizes, how it is organized and divided. So as you can see, we have the font sizes divided in desktop, tablet, and phones, so you can never go wrong on any device in terms of font sizes ever again. Let's take, for example, the first slide for desktop. We have a huge title, we have a subtitle, font sizes for H3s, paragraphs, and links. And those are font sizes that I took and that I put together looking at multiple websites, award-winning websites that are doing well, that win awards, that won awards. On the right side, we have the font size in pixels and in EMs. But for the ones of you that don't know about EMs, it's a super useful value that you can use in the development phase of the website, because it allows you to set one value for the font size, and in 90% of the cases you can forget about it. The type and the font size scales with the window without you doing absolutely anything. So it is actually super useful, and I highly recommend you to implement this kind of unit if you're not doing already in your development phase for your website. And you have everything on the right side, so the pixel value is automatically converted for you to just put the designs that you have in Figma, the sizes that you have in Figma in the development phase without any problems. And we have a bunch of different examples here for the desktop for each device type. Now if we look at the top of each slide, we have page 9 for tablet, page 10 for tablet. And what that means, that's very nice, guys. Let's say that in your design system you have used these font sizes. So 300 pixels for the H1 titles. You have finished the desktop version of your website and you start in developing or designing the tablet version. Now you can go on slide 9 and you can see that your font sizes actually translated into 111, 64 and 20 pixels. We can go on and see on fonts the same font sizes that we have in the desktop version in the tablet version is gonna translate in 60 pixels, 36 and so on for fonts. So this is very nice and you have again the conversion in EMs. This PDF doesn't include all the font sizes that you can use. You can experiment, but at least you have a baseline and a basic understanding of the font sizes that professional users on their websites. To make their websites look professional, aesthetically pleasing, minimal, professional, I don't know if I already said it, but at least they are very accessible. And speaking about font sizes and the units that you should use in the development phase of your website, I recently made a video about why Webflow is not a good option and a good website builder for 90% of the market. So if you're interested about developing your website, I definitely recommend you to check this video.